Hi everyone, it's Jean. So I was posting in the Facebook groups today about what I was doing. I had like this epiphany or something, I don't know, where I just started making all of these fabric strips. And it was so fun adding the different fabrics and the scraps. And so I haven't really made clusters because I feel like I don't do them the right way, or they're not, not coming out the way I want them to. But today I decided to play with some things, and the reason why I decided to do this is because I watched a video, and I'm sorry I can't remember the lady's name, but if I look it up, I'll link it below. She had made some taller, skinny ones, and was not using them just for clusters, but using them for things like paper, edging, tabs, things of that nature. So I'll tell you what I did. On the pictures on the Facebook groups, you're seeing the almost finished product. So I use stitching and I use staples in a couple places. So I went back and I redid, I didn't really redo them. I just put something where that stitching or that staple showed, so it looked like they were seamless without the stitching or the staple. I mainly wanted to cover up the staple, so you will see some stitching because I think the stitching itself adds to the overall collage. So here's another one. This is just a tea-dyed doily piece, and there's all kinds of little snippets of fabric in here that I've had left over. And I had some leftover paper when I cut out my birds that I watercolored a few weeks ago, and I used some of that paper as a base. So all these have a paper base. Some of them have two pieces to make them look a little bit thicker. Now this one, the only thing I added was this little tag because I thought it needed to be a little bit bigger. I didn't change the stitching. I left that where it was, and I didn't cover that up. This one is kind of interesting because I could have left it as is. I did not cover the staple on the heart though. I'm not sure if I'm going to do that. It doesn't really, because there are little sparkles in this denim material, I think leaving that silver staple there is not going to make a big difference. And of course, one of my wooden buttons. And again, all just tea-dyed paper bases, a couple different pieces. This has some vintage crochet trim on it and some vintage flowers. Then I use some of these labels, Tim Holtz labels. I have 101 of those, so I needed to use some of those up. I also saved the strings, and I kind of bunched them up and tied a bow around them, and I think they look really cool on some of these clusters that just needed a little extra. So there's that one. This one I didn't do anything additional to. I think it's just just fine, plain. However, when I use it in a journal, I might think otherwise and add a brad or something to it. This one I made kind of like a flag, and this one is made out of paper, but I had this extra piece of material and lace that was already attached, so I thought I'd put it on the back of this. It needed something. And then I found an earring that was a little bee, so I think that looks really cute. This one is not really my favorite. I think it needs some more things, so I'm going to set that one aside because that's going to go in my not finished pile. Here's just a small one, and some of the papers that I used were music papers, and I liked the titles. They were done in different fonts, so I left some of that kind of peek out. This is a digital, I think I got from Kate's Crafts. I think that's what her name is. And they're actually tickets that she's printed lettering on and a rose motif on it, and I really like that. So I used that and folded the paper over so it would be a little bit thicker. Some of them you still see the strings on them. This is a piece of book paper that I glued on a napkin and then added some of these labels. This label might be from Kim's collection. This is a Tim Holtz flower, I believe. This is a little teacup. This is a wax seal. It has lace and muslin and sheet music on it, and it has a flower behind this teacup. This teacup is, I'm not sure if I have it on my coffee shop or not, but it normally has some little birds on it. You can actually see their little feet here. I had to trim them off just so I could get the teacup. Another thing that I'm noticing as I go through these, I need to go back and distress some of the edges a little bit so they look more rustic. Now on this one, I did put a napkin, and this was some kind of, I don't know if I have another one. I might have gotten them at like Dollar Tree or something, but they're these like burlap flowers. I didn't want to put the whole thing on, so I just made it look kind of like a sunflower with a black button here. And then I added this little tiny piece of seam binding. And these tickets are Tim Holtz too. I haven't seen them for sale recently. They have been around for a while. I've had them for a good while. Now this is another one where I use some of the scraps and of the threads and let the lettering stand out. I put some lace here, and then this flower. This is also Tim Holtz. I'm pretty sure these are from his Field Notes collection. This one I love the shape of because I think it will be perfect to put on the side of a page. And of course we have some Tim Holtz on this as well. Now to tell you honestly, these die cuts here, These are Tim Holtz die cuts, and I don't like them. I don't know why, but they're not my favorite. So I wanted to use them up, and actually by putting them together with this little collage and the butterfly on it, I like it much better. So I will use this in a journal. It's just that there were a few of his die cuts. I forget what collection it was, but I'm not crazy about some of the flowers. There's another one here, and I'll show you in a little bit. So this one has one of my girl images, and it has some layered crochet trim. This is just like a scrap. And this back here is Tim Holtz, and then this butterfly. I think I got those through Temu, but I'm not sure. Here is another one, and this is the other flower thing die cut that I told you that I didn't really care for, but when I added it on here, it seemed to go well. It almost reminds you of a little dress, and it has the gold trim that I had. Here's another one. It's just a simple piece of lace with, it actually has a label under there. You can't see it too well because of the wax seal that I made and the bow. And I cut the ends of the bow like that, so hopefully they won't fray too much. But I love fraying, so it's fine. This is a small one, a mom and her son, I believe. And I found some purple lace, and I used a piece of that and just stuck that on there, and that worked out great. I didn't have to add anything extra to it. This one's one of my favorite ones because I used a bunch of the strings for the design. A butterfly. It says soar. And then on the top, this bow reminded me of, it's just a piece of blue fabric I had. And it's actually, I thought it was folded at the ends, but it's folded at the top. And I love it because it reminds me like of a bow tie of sorts. So I think it looks perfect right on top there. So that's one of my favorites. On this one, I actually used one of my doodle flowers, and I used a butterfly. I have to tell you this story. My mom used to hand stitch quilt pieces together for the longest time, and I found some, and I started to take one or two of them apart, and I found these purple ones with butterflies on them, and I thought, oh, these will be great for my project. So I started cutting out the butterflies, and then I told Mom, I was like all excited about finding butterfly fabric, and she's like, oh, that wasn't yours to cut. And I was like, oops. So that was a little oops that I had there. Here is another one with a little girl, some lace, some of this pink foofy stuff. I don't know exactly what you call this stuff, but I have a strip or two of it, so I thought I'd use some of it. And that one I like with, and this is another one that I really love, these two little girls. And here is all the scrappy strings that I had. So I'll let you look at these, and I'll just go one by one. So I'm pretty sure the girl images I have in my coffee shop. If you want to know how I make my doodle flowers, I do have a video on that. This one's cute. I think I need to add something right here because this is just like a piece of leftover hem or something. And I think it needs like a button or something to make it stay down. So that one I'm going to put in my unfinished pile. Here's this one. And this one. And as I mentioned, these tags, these die cuts are Tim Holtz. The butterflies, however, I'm pretty sure came from Temu, but I don't remember when or how. I can try to look it up if anyone's interested. Here's the rose die cut. And actually, this printed label and the wish, of course, is Tim's as well. And this is really cute. Can't decide on this whether to leave it or if it needs something down here. So this one I'm going to keep in my finished pile, but I think what I'm going to do is wait until I actually apply it to a page. This one is really fun too with the lettering. Here's my sunflower one. And this little field label one. And here's the one I made with the wooden button. May need something there. Here's another one. These butterflies came in handy. Butterflies, birds, and labels, right? Mushrooms too, and leaves. I love this one. Here's another one where I use the Tim Holtz die cut and put a label and just some fabric on there. This is the teacup one. This one has decoupage napkin. This one, just a doily and a little flag. The bee. And this one I left plain. And then this one was one of the ones that I used the string from. So I didn't count 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13. So I made 25 of them, and I made a signature that I'm going to be using soon for a journal. I don't know how your process is for making journals. I usually make my signature first and then decide on how I'm going to do the cover. You may do things similarly, but I made just a small signature, and the reason I did that is because I wanted to see how the clusters would look as a piece on the side of paper. And so I put this one on. It's attached with staples, so I have to pound these down so that no one cuts themselves on them. But this is a tea dyed signature pretty much. There are some book pages in it, as well as this is one printable, and there's 1 or 2 pieces of scrapbook paper in here, but I just wanted to give you an idea of how you could add these to your pages. Now, I don't have a problem using a stapler, and on the other side, whatever I put will probably cover up the staples. Like I could run a strip of lace down here if I wanted to, but if you don't like stapling and that's not your method, then go ahead and just glue it on. Or if you're going to be doing sewing, you can just sew around the page, the whole page, and then just catch this as you go. So I think it looks really nice. This is going to be one of the taller, skinnier journals. And I like these, or I like very small. So I will be working on a cover for this. I just haven't decided, because I'm going to be displaying a lot of my my fabric creations in here, and laces and other things that will be look really good in here. Like these, I think I need a longer one, but like this one right here is a perfect size for a belly band. And then the things that you can stick in there are great. And then if you have any pages like this white one, you know, you can just glue this right on here, or make yourself a pocket or something and stick this in it. Or you could take this cluster and slap it on a tag shape, and you have a ready-made tag. So these are going to go in my ephemera stash along with my belly bands. So I just wanted to show you this what was I trying to say? This journal is nice and crunchy and tea stained, and you know, it's really gonna lend itself to a journal with laces and trims. So that's what I'm working on. That was what I spent all day working on. I don't think I forgot any. These two I need to finish up, and I don't think I left any unfinished. If I find them somewhere, I will show you at a later date, but I'm pretty sure I'm good. And I hope you guys enjoyed this little visit. You can do this all with glue. You don't have to use a staple. You don't have to use a sewing machine. Sometimes it's nice to use the sewing machine because it's faster, and the stitching can add some interest to your projects. But the main point is to have fun, and that's what I did. So I hope you guys have a great evening. Stop by and see me again. If you'd share my video with anyone else that you think may be interested in this process, I would be delighted. And I hope you all have a great evening. Bye for now.